Paul Pogba's future at Manchester United seems more and more under scrutiny with each passing week. The Frenchman has so far refused to sign new terms and clearly prefers to play the waiting game. And as the Red Devils continue to struggle to get the right results, the 28-year-old midfielder knows that he has to assess his options. Things haven't worked out for the player and the club ever since the two were reunited, and the hawkish glances of other elite teams in Europe are making things even more complicated. Meanwhile, Manchester United have called a crisis meeting ahead of the game against Watford, and it appears that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has just a few games left to save his job. The Italian media is a little worried about Gianluigi Donnarumma's situation at Paris Saint Germain, where he's yet to become an automatic starter. Newcastle United have bags of money these days and are set to move for at least 3 players in the upcoming transfer window. Real Madrid's renovation on the Santiago Bernabeu has worked out quite nicely, and we need to talk about the possible revenue the club will generate through this operation. So, if you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and keep an eye out on all of our upcoming content. Florentino Perez is aware of one thing, and he's talked about it on several occasions. It will be more and more difficult for Europe's historic clubs to fight against state-owned clubs. We're already seeing this in the transfer window, where the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus, Bayern Munich, Manchester United, Liverpool and others are struggling to compete with the financial might of the likes of Manchester City and Paris Saint Germain. This is why Madrid are making a bet on a new Santiago Bernabeu that will be completely renovated by the end of this year. It appears that once the work is done, Madrid will hit the jackpot. If the total cost of the renovations is around €1 billion, these expenses should pay quickly for themselves. Madrid are currently negotiating a commercial deal of €400 million only for the Legends box. The club plans to make the stadium a source of income all year round, not just on match days or through museum tours or shop sales. The aim is to attract organisers who are into concerts, events, trade fairs and so on. This could bring in around €100 million additionally to Los Blancos on an annual basis. Perez believes that once everything is in place, the brand new stadium will help the club earn a guaranteed €500 million. That's a nice amount for the club, since it will allow Madrid to recoup the amount they've spent on renovation quickly and then start reaping the rewards and staying a financially lucrative institution that isn't backed by a state. Philippe Coutinho, Ousmane Dembele, Gareth Bale, Nabil Fekir. Since the takeover by the sovereign wealth fund belonging to Saudi Arabia, the transfer window rumours have been popping up in all directions from Newcastle. But with a club that's fighting for its Premier League survival, it will take a little longer for it to start rubbing shoulders with the most prestigious teams in England. According to reports, the Magpies still harbour great ambitions for January and have eyed the Italian Serie A for their first raids. At Inter, Newcastle are looking to make a move for Croatian international Marcelo Brozovic, whose contract expires next June and therefore will not cost a lot. Then there is Stefan de Vrij, who can add some much-needed guile and stability into what is currently a porous backline. The English outfit are also looking to sign a long-term number 1 and have identified Lazio man Thomas Strakosha as their primary target. But that's not the end of it. The Magpies have sent scouts to watch the likes of AC Milan and Juventus, and some of them have even gone to France to watch PSG and Marseille. It's clear that Newcastle's owners are not going to let the team struggle during the second half of the season, and they'll be helping new manager Eddie Howe as much as they can during the January transfer window. At the Theatre of Dreams, storms can sometimes get violent. The recent disturbances mean that something is brewing over there, and with United managing only 4 wins in their last 12 games in all competitions, turmoil is the key word. Before the international break, United struggled to a draw against Atalanta, and then they were taught a lesson by Manchester City at home. Since then, the mood hasn't been that great. So following the international break, Solskjaer decided to take the matter into his own hands. The Norwegian tactician held a crisis meeting on Thursday with several important members of the locker room. This included Harry Maguire, Bruno Fernandes, Luke Shaw, Victor Lindelöf and Nemanja Matic. The meeting took place at the club's Carrington training complex. During the meeting, Solskjaer mentioned the upcoming deadlines with his players and sought solutions to help get the club out of their current conundrum. But it remains to be seen whether this meeting will help the club in the long run, since we've already reported in one of our earlier videos about how quite a few members of the dressing room have lost their faith in the current manager. Is it too little, too late? He knew where he was going. After signing for PSG as a free agent, Gianluigi Donnarumma knew that he will have a fight on his hands in order to displace Keylor Navas. It was a risky bet because Mauricio Pochettino had not decided between the two men, and the legendary Costa Rican goalkeeper is no pushover. This is a man who helped Real Madrid to a hat-trick of Champions League titles. Many people won't see him as a legend, but the manner in which Navas has conducted himself shows how good he is. But it appears that Donnarumma is also not happy with his current situation that has seen him play second fiddle to the veteran custodian. It doesn't hamper my performance, but it bothers me sometimes because it's not easy. Like you said, I've always been a starter and it's disappointing to be on the bench sometimes. But I'm calm and I'm sure the situation will resolve itself. However, it's also true that lack of regular playing time has started affecting the player's performance for the national team. He wasn't at his best for the Azzurri during the international break, and Italian media claims that this is only because he's been lacking in rhythm ever since he went to France. But that's exactly what happens when you decide to join a team that is very much South American in terms of diversity and has a manager who had zero plan to manage two number ones. Meanwhile, PSG are set to welcome back Sergio Ramos. The legendary Spaniard trained with the group last week and is close to regaining full fitness. This means that he could be in the squad for the Ligue 1 encounter against Nantes. However, Pochettino will be the one who'll make the final decision, since the Argentine tactician is known to be extremely cautious about players who've got fitness issues. However, the club's supporters will be eager to see the veteran centre-back, even if it's only for a few minutes. Ramos, on the other hand, will be relieved after finally making his debut. He might not get to play a lot this season, but a fair amount of game time will eventually help him return to his usual best. After shining with Juventus and revealing himself to the world, Paul Pogba has had many lows with Manchester United and very few highs. Thus, everything suggests that he should give new impetus to his career at the end of his contract with Mino Raiola, who has never hidden his desire to find him a new club. It could well be Paris Saint Germain, where Leonardo dreams of hitting a big blow in midfield next summer. But then there's Juventus, who would be favoured by the player, while Real Madrid seem determined to come back to the fore in this matter. The Spanish outfit might not be averse to signing two free agents next summer. Meanwhile, Manchester United might already have given up hopes of signing the World Cup winner to a new deal. Pogba might not be against extending his contract, but the player's performances don't really suggest that he deserves a lucrative deal. If we're being honest about things, Paul Pogba has been given a lot of leeway by the club, and Solskjaer in particular has done everything he can to put the player in a role where he can shine. Sadly though, Pogba has been more of a letdown than anything else. Regardless of what role he plays in, the midfielder has never been consistent, and at times he does some really idiotic things on the pitch that cost the club dearly. Therefore, we're not surprised by rumours about the club wanting to cut its losses and bring in a more professional and disciplined replacement, either in January or next summer. Pogba, on his day, is one of the best players on the planet. However, we rarely get to see that side of him, and when he's not himself, he becomes a liability. Manchester United can't afford players who are prone to switching off at any given time. They've already got guys like Harry Maguire and a poor midfield to worry about. The last thing they need is a player like Pogba imploding on the pitch and going into full spectator mode. So why keep a player who has a lot of quality but doesn't play to his potential week in, week out, has a nuisance of an agent and no longer believes in the project? United will be better off moving on from this episode and going for a player who has more discipline in his veins.